What's going on YouTube? It's been a minute. Now, probably some of you are wondering, bro, where the have you been? And some of you are probably wondering, who the are you? And trust me, I'm going to answer both of those questions and a lot more. But first, let me do this. So before I start the video, I just wanted to give a sincere apology to my family. Uh, a lot of my family members didn't know I had this YouTube channel, and then once they came across it and just saw a lot of the things I was going through, it definitely did make them very happy. And on top of that, excuse me, on top of that, in my last video that I posted, which has now since been deleted, I basically made a vlog regarding a favor that I had done for my cousin. And it was one of those things where or one of those situations where I help you and you would help me in return. However, I didn't do a very good job at explaining myself, and I also gave a lot of personal and intimate information out that shouldn't have been shared, or at least should have been um, asked before sharing. So I just wanted to apologize to all of you guys and just let you know that moving forward, my channel is going to be a lot more personal to me. It's going to be a lot more fitness focused. And if there is any other information or things that I would like to share regarding, I guess, the family business, then I will definitely ask for permission beforehand. That way I don't rub anyone the wrong way or put anything out there that shouldn't be out there. My cousin definitely gave me a good lesson on social media etiquette and what to say and what not to say. So after going over that with him and doing a little bit of extra work on my own, rest assured that moving forward, it's just going to be me, the camera, and my viewers. So again, I'm sorry for that, guys, and thank you. I'm glad you apologized to your family. I'm pretty sure they appreciate that. But who exactly are you again? Right. So to quickly recap, who exactly am I for the people who have not met me before, as well as just kind of diving a little bit deeper into who I am for the people who started watching my YouTube channel. My name is Victor. I'm 24 years old. I'm an NPC classic physique bodybuilder, and I'm also an online fitness coach. And I've been working with weights for about the past 10 years, and then I've been working with clients for about the past 6. And my story actually begins when I was 13 years old, maybe 13 or 14. I started working out because I was super self-conscious about the way I looked, like every other kid. When I was in middle school, I got bullied a lot for what people call skinny fat. So if you don't know what that is, it's basically when you have little small arms and legs, you have man tits, and then you have what my mom called baby fat. And so at the time, I was playing football and I was like one of the least in shape kids. So I usually got called a lot of names. I got picked on for the way I look. And then also, when I was out on the football field, they would mutilate me just because I was a lot smaller and weaker and just not in shape compared to the rest of them. So by the time I moved to Panama City, Florida to start high school, I decided to change all that. I didn't want to be that little skinny fat weirdo kid that nobody liked. So when I got to high school, I started working out. I started off with doing P90X in my room. I would sneak it from downstairs and then work out in my room, do the video like 2 or 3 times in a row. And then I would only eat dinner with my family and then maybe another meal at the end of the day, just to lose as much body fat as possible and get as skinny as I could possibly be. So that way it looked somewhat normal in my own mind. Excuse me. That eventually evolved into me literally sneaking into the weight room as much as I could whenever I could, my freshman year of high school. Even if it was for 15, 20 minutes, I would literally sneak into the weight room, work out for a little bit, and then until I got kicked out, and then move on. I would even bring weights in my backpack and work out during lunch break. And, I was always running around the school and doing weird shit just because I just wanted to be in shape. That eventually evolved into me getting on the weightlifting team, the track team, and then also participating in a little bit of football, wrestling, and swim. So throughout my high school career, I was a little bit more athletic. My main goal is just to get as strong as I possibly could, but maintain my weight since my main sport was weightlifting. However, my fixation on maintaining my weight turned into a binge eating disorder. That on top of always trying to be shredded with six pack abs 24/7 because I thought that's what I had to look like, basically turned into me dieting like I'm about to get on stage for bodybuilding from Monday through Friday. Then Friday, for some reason, I would just eat whatever the was in the house. It could have been literally like hot dog buns and tortillas, and I would just eat that because I was so like calorie deprived throughout the week. So I would diet super hard, run all the time, and just burn like 3,000 calories a day, only eating maybe 1,500. Then Friday, I would binge eat to the point where like I'm so full of food that literally it feels like someone's stabbing my stomach and I can't move because there's just so much in my stomach. And I was literally pregnant. Like from the side, it literally looked like whenever I ate. And then I would wake up Saturday morning every weekend and I would literally go and at this time do what's called the turtle hermit training. So if you've ever watched Dragon Ball, it's when Krillin and Goku start working with Master Roshi. He has them deliver milk, doing all these different things like running, skipping, running upstairs, line walking, all this other stuff. So I literally do that every Saturday morning to try to lose all of the fat that I gained from the Friday night before. And I would still only eat like once or twice a day, try to, get shredded by Monday. So that way when I came in Monday, I was back to having six pack abs and being shredded and like looking awesome. Now, once I basically started learning that this is a binge eating disorder and my body just needs more calories so I wouldn't binge, and also the weightlifting season ended so I didn't have to worry about my weight, that's when I discovered that you can totally eat more calories and just train harder and you'll still stay the same weight but just get stronger, or eat a little bit more calories and now gain even more weight and muscle. So that evolved into, me eventually pursuing powerlifting. After high school, I wanted to basically just max out on my bench, squat, and deadlift and be as strong as possible while staying as small as possible. Quick note on powerlifting. So I didn't do any competitions. I was basically like a power builder. I would max out on bench, squat, and deadlift and like get some pretty good numbers for my size, but I didn't do any actual competitions. However, having a few shoulder injuries and then also realizing that like I don't like being small, that led me to eventually going into bodybuilding. Now, with bodybuilding, though, my first competition was 18 years old, and then another one at 19. I did the Ocala Cup Classic in like 2018, and then I did the Europa Games before they turned into the UBU Expo in 2019. Or it might be 2017 and 2018, or 2018, 2019. I don't remember. After that, I decided to become a personal trainer. For me, fitness has been one of the most consistent things in my life, and just dealing with a lot of the struggles of being a teenager and growing up and not thinking you look good and just constantly being in your head, on top of being very antisocial and having a lot of social anxiety. I decided to make fitness my journey and my passion and trying to help others in terms of um, building up their physique, building their mindset, building up their discipline, and just kind of guiding them to that path of like just being awesome and loving yourself and appreciating the hard work that you've done. Okay, so I mean, that sounds cool and all, but why is your channel called Chronicles of a Homeless Bodybuilder? So to answer that question, I'm not gonna go into super deep detail as to how I became homeless. I definitely explained in great depths in my last videos of how that happened. But to quickly recap for those of you who are new, uh, basically, I was a personal trainer over at Crunch Fitness, and at this time, I was also getting ready for a bodybuilding show, the Miami Muscle Classic, um, on June 3rd last year in 2023. And basically, what had happened is one of my clients lost his personal assistants, so I actually came to him and proposed that I become his new personal assistant. We both agreed. Um, you know, we agreed verbally on, a certain amount of pay, what my roles and responsibilities would be, and things like that. However, we never signed any paperwork, and my duties never really came to fruition. However, me just being overly confident and trusting this dude a lot, I basically thought I was going to be getting paid for the time that I was helping him out. And so for the next 2 months after my show, I basically was helping him out as much as I could, but I didn't really get paid anything. And so that forced me to have to rely a lot on my savings and my credit cards. And on top of that, my roommate was also super unreliable. Every month that the rent was due, he would always pay like, 1 or 2 weeks late. And at this time, when I didn't have any money, he also didn't have any money. So we ended up being 2 months behind rent. And then he just decided to leave and go to Tampa. So that left me with the apartment and no money to pay for it. Even though I asked my parents for money, it wasn't enough to cover the rent. And at this time, like I said, I wasn't working because I was trying to help out my client. So, long story short, I ended up getting evicted, got kicked out of my apartment, and thankfully I was able to stay with my uncle and aunt for, a few weeks or a month or two, at least for me to get a job and somewhat get back up on my feet. But once I realized that it was going to be a long process for me to get out of their house and move out on my own, and, in their head, they kind of wanted me to just be there for, maybe like 2 or 3 months. um, I just decided, you know what, like I'm gonna be here for a long time, and I'm starting to see that even though I wasn't doing anything wrong, and they were, very nice about it, I can kind of tell they kind of didn't really want me there much anymore. And I also felt like, I just needed to get out of there so I can just not have the stress of trying to be out on my feet and things like that. So I ended up living out of my car. So I was living out of my car for a little over 3 months. So I actually did the math, 134 days. And I started the YouTube channel off to basically document my journey of coming from out of my car to eventually getting my own apartment, which, as you see here, step one is done. And then eventually being able to pay off my eviction and move into a better place and just see me progress and grow as my physique and my bodybuilding career goes. Hmm. Okay. Okay. That sounds a little bit more interesting, but why haven't you been posting? Right. So I definitely fell off with my posting. And honestly, it was just due to the fact that I had a lot of things eating up my time. And I honestly just didn't really feel like recording. Recording, editing, and then posting on YouTube is quite a lengthy process. And for me, I'm still relatively new, so I just didn't want to deal with it. And like I said, I had a lot of things eating up my time. At one point, I was going to the casino literally every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day for, quite a few hours. And it was because this dude that I met at the diner happens to be a card dealer. And what he does as a side gig is he would go to other casinos and play sports bets. He would, count cards or even do the slot machines. And so basically, I would go into the casino, place some sports bets, collect the tickets, give the tickets to him. Then whatever tickets won, I would go back to the casino, collect the money, bring it to him, or use that same money to place more bets. And so that was eating up a lot of my time. On top of that, I was working long hours at the restaurant. And, since I work at a bar, I would usually get in there sometimes from 11 a.m. and do a double, working all the way until midnight or even 1 a.m. Or I would just come in at 4 p.m., but still I wouldn't get out until like maybe 2 or 3 a.m. Outside of the restaurant, the casino, I was dealing with a lot of girls. For me to help cope with like my frustrations at work and just not being where I want to be at in life. I know with girls, that's an area where I'm a little bit more successful. So I was literally spending like ridiculous amounts of time just like being on dating apps, messaging girls, um, meeting up with them, hooking up, things like that. Like I was pretty addicted. And so, that obviously ate up a lot of time. At one point, I was setting up camp for the night, and then apparently I was in an area where I wasn't supposed to be. So two cops came literally right when I was about to go to sleep and told me like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be here. It's private property, whatever." Um, Basically, once they looked up my info, they told me that my license had actually been suspended since last year, which I did not know. Apparently, it was due to a ticket that I got in Orlando. And even though I paid for the ticket, there was an election on there to do driver's school. But like I said, I didn't know that. So, in order to get this information, I literally went to the courthouse first. That's basically when they told me, like, you need to go call the clerk of courts in Seminole County and figure out what's going on. I called them. They basically were like, we have no idea what you're talking about. And then I ended up going to the DMV literally damn near every day, just trying to talk to somebody. And then finally they were like, hey, just do this course. As soon as you do the course, your license is unsuspended. And even though that course is 4 hours long, it ended up taking me like 8 or 9 hours just because there's a time limit per section. So that obviously took up a lot of my time. Something else as well is as I'm trying to make my way towards moving into a place, I started trying to figure out how exactly do I get this eviction off my record. So I was going back and forth with the courthouse, just trying to get information, which, the courthouse is not very helpful, to be honest with you. I learned that as long as I pay my debts off to my old apartment complex, I could ask for an expungement and then basically just get the eviction expunged off of my record since my debts are paid off. So I ended up going to my old apartment complex and trying to figure out how much do I owe, how can I pay that off, do I have to pay off all of it since, my roommate and I were both on the lease. So I was dealing with that. And then, of course, I had the family drama that was going on with my last video, as well as some other things that are more personal to my family. So, the good things that came out of this, my cousin was actually able to help me find this place. He was looking at efficiencies for me, and a lot of them looked pretty promising. This just happened to be the one that was like, hey, look, as long as you pay the rent and you follow these few rules, you can live here as long as you want. We won't really bother you. So I ended up moving in here, which was also a process, grabbing all my things from my storage unit to then moving it into here. And so, excuse me. And so that brings us to today. Dang, dude. Sounds like a lot has happened to you. But to be completely honest, I'm just here for the fitness content. So, what does this have to do with your channel moving forward? Now that you guys are all caught up with what's happened to me since my last YouTube video, I definitely want to make a declaration that moving forward, I'm going to be consistent with my channel. With that being said, we are going to switch the focus a little bit. So with my YouTube, I'm still going to keep it very personal in terms of my growth and development in my bodybuilding career, as well as my personal life. However, since most of you are here for fitness, there will be a lot more information regarding that in my videos, whether it be tips and tricks in the gym, dieting and training techniques, or any sort of mindset or thought process that I may have that can help benefit you on your fitness journey. When it comes to my Instagram, it's going to be the same thing, just a little bit more specific to the fitness side of things. You'll still see my personality here and there, but it's going to be a lot more focused on just trying to get the most out of you guys, whether you're my clients or whether you're just someone watching my videos for inspiration or information. My Instagram will definitely help you guys out a lot with just finding more specifics in that regard. And then when it comes to my TikTok, it's going to most likely be like a collection of all of the nuggets that you get from my Instagram and my YouTube. And so anything that I come up with that I think is going to be extremely helpful and is ideal for a short form, usually a lot of like quick thoughts that I have when I'm working out, or maybe quick tips here and there when it comes to dieting to either put on muscle or get shredded, those will definitely be in my TikTok. So that way you can just get that information super quick, super fast, and just go on with your day. So yeah, so I wanted to conclude this video with just by saying thank you guys so much for sticking with me till the end. If you did, definitely give a like, comment, subscribe. It definitely means a lot to me, my impact on you guys. So if I did make an impact, I'd definitely like to learn about it and see how else I can help you in that regard, and any sort of things that maybe you might want to see from my channel moving forward. So until next time, guys, thank you so much. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.